G'day, welcome to Oly35mm, user-based, quasi-empirical, cheap and cheerful videos on Olympus 35mm cameras. Today we have a point and shoot with a little bit of a difference. It is an Olympus Infinity Twin, or AF1 Twin, weatherproof biaxial optical system. Now, what does that mean? Well, it sort of means that we're talking about a 35 and a 70mm lens, all in one. It's not a zoom, it's actually two separate lenses. In fact, it's actually two separate lens setups. And what actually happens in the center is you actually have a 35mm lens here, which goes straight through to the film, and then you have a 70mm lens up here, and I'll just press the little let's change the lens button. You'll notice the viewfinder will change as well, so it gets a bit bigger. And when you actually press that button, I'll show you the button in a moment, it actually goes, the view now goes through the 70mm lens at the top, bounces off a mirror. In fact, it goes through another lens and then down onto a mirror and then back onto the film. So the whole biaxial thing is actually, or biaxial thing is actually quite true, because it's doing it two different ways. So one at direct and one sort of via 90 degrees and then bounced up again. All very, very clever. Okay, so the Infinity Twin, I don't actually have any instructions on it. I haven't been able to find instructions on it. So there's some things that I can't tell you about it, but what I do know, I will share with you. Firstly, I really like it. It's a really nice camera. The 35mm lens is clearer, I think, than the 70, and I think that's because you're bouncing off a mirror. But nonetheless, the 70mm's not too tardy. Okay, so standard Olympus stuff. You've got the lens cover to protect the lens, which is always nice. Thank you, Mr. Olympus. A little slide comes across, and it turns everything on. Now, if I can show you, I'll try and get the reflections just right. I'll show you the LCD screen. The LCD screen tells you how many shots you're in there are taken on the film. It will also tell you if there's no film in there. There's a little sort of like open door type affair little symbol down in the bottom. I've got a film in there, so maybe if I remember, I'll show you later at the end of the video. You've got your flash, only 3 flash settings on this one. This is a 1988 model. Some of the flashier flash options came along a little bit later, but to be honest with you, I think this is just right. We have flash in its auto setting, so it'll fire the flash whenever needed. It has it in its off setting, which again I would tend to suggest you turn it off as soon as you open up the camera lens, unless you actually want to use the flash, because it typical Olympus tends to just do its own thing, and it may fire when you don't want it to. And then there's the fill-in flash, which is very, very handy as well. Okay, there is a self-timer option, and there it is there. You can just set the little self-timer symbol, and there is also, I'll just turn that flash off, and there's also a continuous function. If I just the continuous function, for some reason or other, will only actually take 4 shots. I don't quite know why, but it'll take 4 shots in a row, and that's it. It's very, very slow. In fact, let me show you. Four shots, that's all you get. What the value would be in having continuous shooting with 35mm film these days, I'm not so sure. But anyway, it's there if you need it. Now, as I was talking about the 2 different lenses, there's your symbol up there with your 3 little people for your wide. Press the tele wide button here, and you hear this clonk, and you will get a single person, so to show that it's on the tele mode. So, and that just toggles on and off. Now, I can't actually show you the mirror mechanism while there's a film in there, obviously, but it's actually very hard to show you when it's turned off and there's not a film in there. So what I've done is I managed to set it up, and I've taken a couple of shots, a couple of still photographs, and I'll actually embed them into the video, so you can actually see that funky little assembly that they've got going with the mirror. from there. So I'll just take another couple of shots, and it will think about it, and then it will talk about rewinding. As you can hear, and I'll just speak a little bit louder over the top of that, it's quite a noisy camera. Now, probably not your best street shooter, I wouldn't have said. Oh, and here we go. Sorry, here's that little flashing thing that actually says, hey, by the way, there's either an empty film in there, or a film that's rewound back into the cartridge, or I have no film at all. So please pop my side section and take the film out. And oh, here we go. You can actually see that little mirror assembly there. So I'll still keep those photographs in there anyway, though, so you can see what's going on. And there's, hopefully, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the lens assembly up the top. I don't think you can see it with a light that I've got. Yeah, so going back to what I was saying, it's probably not the the best street shooter around, and unless you want to be overt about it. It's oh, sorry, I'll get that back in focus here. Where are we? So you can, I'm just, where are we? There's the focus here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Sorry about that. It's not the best street shooter around, but it's a nice little point and shoot, and if you can pick one up at the right price, I think it's definitely well worth it. Something quite unique, and I was very lucky. I've got mine with a case. Like I said, this is the Infinity Twin, which is the American model. The AF1 Twin is the international model. So that's it. Fun little camera to use. Something a little bit different. Impress your friends and family. Be the only kid on the block to have one. That'll probably do us for today, I think. So thanks very much for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.